Hi, everybody. I wanted to try to quickly go through chapter 2 with you. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to go through some of the let me tries and the show me's as we progress through the chapter. So I'm not going to read the chapter to you word for word, but I noticed a couple of kind of one-off nuances, maybe little tips and tricks to help. And so I'm gonna go through it kind of quickly. So please, if you're gonna follow along with me, use the pause function on the video as much as you need to. Um, because I'm not gonna read the chapter word for word. I'm gonna kind of go step by step and talk through it and then do the let me tries with you. Um, so use the pause function as much as you need to. Let me share my screen. All right, I've got my Chapter 2, Formatting and Customizing Documents chapter up, and I'm going to open the book, and it shows you that we've got 9 kind of things to learn in this chapter. They're called student learning outcomes. There's 9 things we're learning this time, okay? Um, and so first one is customizing margins and page layout. Now, if you're used to doing this a certain way, while you're in the simulation, you might have to click on it a different way. That's the best way I can put it. Um, so it's showing you kind of where to change your margins and how. If you've ever gotten points taken off in an assignment saying your margins are too wide or you've got too much blank space on the side or whatever, this is how you can fix that. So we're going to go to the let me try first. And I'm not telling you to skip the other things because you shouldn't. The the show me part, I really like those videos. Like for this right here, if you have no idea where the page setup dialog box is, you don't need to go to let me try first. You need to exit out. You need to go back to where we were. Yeah, it's right here. And then start going through the show me. Hit the play button and it's super quick and it'll show you where that is and then we'll progress through.
To set custom margins, click the Margins button, Layout tab, Page Setup Group. The Margins drop-down list opens. Click Custom Margins. The Page Setup dialog box opens. Click the Margins tab if it is not already selected. Click the top, bottom, left, or right margin box. Type New Value or press the up or down arrows to change the margin. Click OK to apply the margin settings.
So it was 30 seconds. It shows you how to do it. The guide me also is very good to do, especially if this is a new skill for you. I'm going to skip that for now and go back to the let me try where we were. So open page setup. You had to have known that it was in layout. Not that you couldn't have clicked through it to find it because I do that all the time every day. But if you look at it and go, I don't see a page setup button, pause, hit exit, go back, do the guide me, and then progress through before the let me try. The let me try, just as a reminder, is where the points come from for your chapter. Um, but the guide me and show me, they are there so that you get the points right. Um, and you can do it as many times as you need to. So, all right, page setup. It's right here. So these little arrow in the corner, that's called a dialog box. Great, I clicked it correctly. Change the top and bottom margins to 0.75. So top, I'll tell you, I did this previously, and sometimes, although that's not the case this time, sometimes it didn't want me to do the arrows and it would tell me it was wrong. But if I highlighted or deleted the number in the box and just retyped the right one, it was correct. So it wants port 0.75, but when you use the arrows in this dialog box, 75 isn't an option. So you'll manually have to type it anyway. So top and bottom to 0.75, left and right to 1. And then click OK. So that's the simplest way to get through changing top, bottom, left, and right margins. Page orientation, meaning is it portrait or is it landscape? You know, you got 8.5 by 5 by what? Shoot, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Is it up and down or is it, sideways? And that's in the layout tab also, next to the margins button. It's orientation. Letter size, normal letter size is 8.5 by 11. Legal papers are 8.5 by 14. If you've ever played, you can also make, things bigger or smaller depending on the size of paper. If you need to make if you're going to make a notepad and sell notepads and you need to print them yourselves, then you can set those page sizes. Um, so kind of all of that's in there. And I say make and sell notepads. I watched a video of a young lady that her whole business is making and selling notepads that she creates on her computer and then prints and then cuts with a big paper cutter. It's fascinating. Um, so changing the alignment, using the ruler, there's multiple ways to use the ruler. I'm gonna skip through and go to the let me try. It says display the ruler. So if you're going to display something, it means that you want to view it. Keep that in mind because there's a view tab. So if you're not sure what it's asking, think about the big picture of what it's asking. You're changing to see something. So here in the view tab, there is a ruler box right here. And you click it and we got that one right. Um, the ruler is important in 100 different reasons when you're typing a paper. And we're going to go over a couple of those now. One of the views, a different view. So if you want to see, like if you're typing a large English paper and you need to see more than just this page, you can change the view and do side to side view. And you can see both pages together. You'll see that on your screen. Using tab stops. So the tab key that's on your keyboard, there are some default, like you hit the tab key and it goes, maybe an inch across the page every time you hit it. You can set those manually for a variety of reasons that you would need to do that. Legal documents, if you need to move maybe a bulleted list, or if you need to narrow something over here, but there there are a bazillion reasons why you would need to use a tab stop or set them, and that it would be different than what the default tab is. So you can go in and you can actually manually change that. So I'm going to do a show me video real quick to show you.
To
Please
set tab stops using
do
the
this yourself
cursor
too.
box. First, select the text where you want to set a tab stop. On the Home tab, click the Paragraph Launcher to open the Paragraph dialog box. Click the Tabs button. In the Tabs dialog box, click in the Tab Stop Position area and type the desired tab stop position. In the Alignment area, select the type of tab stop radio button you want. Click the Set button. The tab stop appears in the list of tab stops below the tab stop position area. Click OK to close the Tabs dialog box.
If you need to practice that, please use the guide me and practice. Also, open the paragraph dialog box. Remember these little arrows next to the sections. So let me back up for 1 second. I didn't say this in my last video. In Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, you have tabs at the top up here. In each tab, there are sections. So clipboard, font, paragraph, styles, those are sections. They each have these little arrows within that section to open it up bigger. So it opens up a bigger menu. Those are called dialog boxes. Dialog boxes. So we're in the Home tab, the paragraph section. We're opening that dialog box. Okay. Keep that in mind as we progress through this semester. Open the Tabs dialog box. So there is a Tabs button down here. And then it's going to tell us set the right align tab to 6.5. So right here, we need to manually type 6.5, do the right one because it says the right one, hit set, and then click OK. In order to get it right, you've also got to click set. Okay, don't forget that. All right. Now, this is going to take the tab that we just worked through, and it's actually going to place it somewhere. It says use the tab selector to place a right tab stop at 6.5. So there's multiple ways to set tab stops. Big picture. You can go into the dialog box like we just practiced, but also you can do it directly onto the ruler. So it says use the tab selector to place a right tab stop. So if you'll notice right here where my mouse is, this little bitty corner box, it looks like an L. So that is a left align tab stop. It says use the tab selector. So you double click it and it moves it over to the right. So now it's a right one. You see, did you see that? I'm gonna go back. Let me go back to left. Hang on. There it is, left. Now double click it and now it's right. Okay, so it's what it needs to be. And when you go through the guide me and let me try, it's going to tell you to double select. It's going to double click, I mean. So make sure you're working through that. If you need to pause the video right now and go back and do it yourself, please do so. And then at 6.5 on the ruler, you click and there it is. It automatically puts it in there for you. On a personal note, this is actually how I set my tabs personally, rather than going in and manually typing where I move it on the ruler so I can visually see it on the paper. That's just me, personal preference. Um, what you're learning is you're learning both ways to do it. Okay. So now let's say you're on a paper and you're going to add a leader, meaning, when you're looking at like a table of contents page and it says chapter 1 and then dot, 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 page 5. That's called a leader. Okay. Microsoft Word will do those for you without you typing dot, 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 dot. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the show me video, and this might be the last show me video I do today. We'll see.
To add a tab leader, select the text where you want to add a tab leader. Click the paragraph launcher to open the paragraph dialog box. Click the tabs button to open the tabs dialog box. Select an existing tab stop in the tab stop position box. In the leader area, select the type of leader to be applied. Click the Set button. Click OK to close the tabs dialog box.
All right, let's try it. Open the paragraph dialog box. Here we are. Open the tabs down here. Apply a dashed leader to the 6.5 tab stop. So 6.5, we created that a second ago. It says dash. So there's dots, dash, and a full straight line. Here is the dashed. So hit set, click OK. Excellent. Done with that one. Let's move on. Now we have using indents. So many students, and I've taught for a long time, and many of us, it seems, we don't realize that in order to indent a paragraph, you don't hit the space button. You never should hit the space bar when indenting a paragraph. You use the tab key. You can set those indents as big as you need to for the variety of reasons that you would need to do that. So going through the let me try without doing the video, let's see if we can do it. From the layout tab, set a 2.5 left indent right here. Now this is where a while ago I used the arrows before I was on the screen when I was going over everything. It wouldn't let me use the arrows. It told me I was doing it wrong. Not sure why. I just need you to know that. So this is one of those little nitpicky things. Don't anybody panic. That's why I'm making this video. So layout, find the indent, found it right there. Layout tab, left indent, 0.25. 0.25. Got it. Next. Now do a right indent, 0.25. Let's do that again. Excuse me, I apologize. Got those both right, and we keep on. Okay. Next, we're going to start looking at using the ruler for the indents. So, um, in this one, it talks about a hanging indent. On the ruler, and it's not showing you that right now, it will later, but on the ruler, you can just kind of move them right here. I do that personally a lot. I kind of move these things around as I'm creating documents for a variety of reasons. I use that ruler a lot. That we added the ruler a while ago. Um, Me personally, I like to use the ruler to set those things up. It says pause and practice. In this pause and practice project, you'll format a resume for Rochelle Wilkinson. The resume is a two-page document, and you change the margins, set the tab stops and the leaders, and use indents. You need this file. Open the resume document from your student data files, which is right here. Save it as this. Change the margins. Hang on. I'll stop for a second before I keep going. Pause and practice. These are for you. This is not something you're turning in for me. Um, Make sure that this is for practice. That way, when we get to the project that's graded here in a minute, you've already practiced it once. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to do the steps of this right now. Um, but this is a very normal way that your project directions will look. So you're practicing, you know, formatting this document, yes, but you're also starting to practice because it's the beginning of our time together in this book, kind of practice seeing how project instructions look, downloading files. There's a method to this madness, even though you're sitting here going, I'm not going to do that project if she's not grading it. I get it. That's where my brain would go to if I was sitting in your seats. But there's a lot of there's a method here because it's new in our chapter. Big picture, I'm not grading the pause and practices. Those are for you to practice. Okay. They're super helpful, especially if you're already struggling to use. If you didn't know you weren't supposed to use the space bar to indent a paragraph. If you had no idea that you could change the margins yourself. If you are just not really, really strong in kind of document processing, regardless if it's Word or Google Docs or whatever, please take the moment and do the pause and practice for sure, please. There's no such thing as too much practice. Okay. Insert page numbers. You will receive a lot of homework from your professors that are going to require page numbers. There's 100 ways to do it. And we're going to practice a few of them. So I'm going to skip to the let me try. Insert a plain page number at the top right of the first page. I forgot where page numbers was all of a sudden as I'm now on the screen. Isn't that wonderful? Insert, of course. I said a while ago, always think about what you're doing. Insert page numbers. Page number. At the top right of the first page. See, I did it wrong. Insert tab, page number, top of page, select plain number 3. I didn't see plain number 3. Let's go back. Insert, page number, top of page. Oh, sorry. I wasn't reading clearly. All right. There we go. But you see, it's going to let you go back and redo it if you miss it the first time. The point is mastery, not doing it once and moving on and hoping you got it right. So the point is to get it right. Close the header. Done. All right, let's keep going. The next one is set a different first page header and footer. Um, sometimes open the header area. I'm in the header area. Oh, my apologies for that. I accidentally right-clicked and I didn't mean to. When it said open the header area, I didn't go over this and I should have. So let me backstep for a second. When you have a header, the letters itself are grayed out on the regular part of the page. You can double click on those grayed out letters and it opens the header. It does have a close box up here. You'll see that on your screen. But any header or footer that's grayed out, you just double click on it and you can edit it if you need to. Click check different first page. Done. So there's plenty of, so let's say you turn in a 10-page essay in your English class, but it had to have a cover page on it. You don't want the cover page to be page 1. You want the next page to be page 1. So if you're going to set page numbers for all 10 pages, you want a different first page. Okay? Does that make sense? There's 100 reasons why, but the easiest explanation is when you use a cover page, you don't number it. You never number the cover of a document or the cover of a book. The first page is after you've opened it. That's page 1. So that's how you do that. Click close the header and footer button. Done. Let's keep going. So we're going to insert header and footer content. You can insert names. Many of your English papers will require that you do page numbers with your last name. Keep that. That will be the norm if you haven't come across that already. It says open the document header box. Insert header. Edit header. Next, add a document title property. Add the document title property to the header. Show hint. Click the document info drop-down button and select document title. Document info. There we go. Document title. Close the header. Close. That would be one of those that I would go back and do show me. That's a new way for me to add a document title. Not to say that, because those can be manually typed too. And if you're like me and you already know how to do a document title, and maybe this is a new way, don't get frustrated. Just kind of go step by step. And that's kind of why we're doing this. So I don't want you to sit there and go, no, this is how I've always done it. Yes, and that way may also be right, but they're trying to show us new ways to do some things that maybe we didn't already know. So, all right, another pause and practice. Again, not grading this one. This is for your practice. Please do them. Next one, using page and section breaks. I am a page break fanatic. When you're typing documents that are multiple pages and you've got this paragraph that the first line was at the bottom of one page and the rest of the paragraph ended up on the next page, that bothers me. You can insert a page break to make sure that that top line goes with its regular paragraph on the next page without using the enter or return button. Just hitting return and creating a blank line does not always ensure that all of it will remain where you thought it was going to. But a page break is a hard stop. It's like, nothing's going past this. Guess what? That whole paragraph's going to be on the next page. So keep that in mind as you're progressing through. So let's insert a page break. So you've got your cursor in front of the word education. That's important, not at the end. If you do it at the end, if you moved your cursor to the end over here, then the break would not happen until after the word education. We don't need that. We need it at the front. So we need the word education to move down to the next page. So we go insert. Did it say page break right there? Bam, done. We got it. Again, I use page break a lot because of that very thing. And so let's keep going. Bulleted, numbered, and multi-level list. If you knew how my brain worked, you would know that I think in bulleted lists. So you'll notice, like in our class, the list of things to do that I post every week, it's literally a bulleted list. I'm a bulleted check mark list person all day long. So big fan of bullets, let me just say. Convert the selected list to a bulleted list using the most recently applied option. Recently, that's important. The most recently used bullets. So it was highlighted. What you needed to make bullets was highlighted. And then the most recently used. In almost all cases, you'll either use the dot or whatever you want. In this case, it wanted to show us that recently used is an option also. Wonderful. Customize a bullet. Let's see what we can customize here. Convert the selected list into a numbered list using the 1, 2, 3 option. So the numbered list is the next button over. Regular bullets are there. Numbered lists are right next door. Using the 1, 2, 3. It's 1 dot, 2 dot, not 1 parentheses. So we'll use that. Got it. So there's tons of options when it comes to numbering and listing and bullets. And you can use almost any graphic that you can possibly think of. Using styles and themes. A lot of times if you're typing a document that has multiple types of headers, meaning, so in the business world, business documents are not the same as English essays. You know, when you're in an English class, you center your title, you indent the paragraph, everything's double spaced, and paragraph, 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 paragraph. Okay, but in business, most paragraphs start with a paragraph header to label what's being talked about there. I teach small business management also, and they have to do a business plan. Every topic in the business plan requires a paragraph header. So you would type target market, and then your next paragraph or two would be explanation of who your target market is. You can use a specific style or theme to make the whole document look a certain way. And it's much more than just the size and style of the font, although that's a lot of it too. Apply the title style to the selected text. So up here, you've got your styles. Here is the dialog box that we open. The menu opens up bigger and it says select title. So these are pre-selected sizes and fonts. Keep that in mind. That doesn't mean that you can't change, like if it comes out blue and you need it to be purple, you can change that after the fact. So you set the style and then you can edit after that. So we've got our title done. You can, modify style, what I just say. Let's try that. Add ion theme to the document. It's design. There it is. Ion. There it is, right there. So it would, and it's hard to see because it kind of grays out the background, but you'll notice the document underneath our green box here, the color of the font changed and the font style itself changed. And those are built-in different themes. You'll use those themes also in PowerPoint when we get to PowerPoint. So you'll see some similarities there. Also, we're still updating in the pause and practice. You're still updating her resume, which is the pause and practice is taking us through the same document to constantly update it step by step with what we're learning. So again, if this whole concept of making these documents in various different ways is new to you, please use this as an opportunity to practice all of these documents that you possibly can. Using find and replace. Oh, how many times I have to use this. Changing words from this to that. Open the navigation pane. Let's do this wrong. Hang on. Use find in the navigation pane. I actually think it's in review. Did I miss it? Oh, it was already there. I'm a dodo. Find the instances of the word developed. There it is, developed. And capitalize that. All right, you just type the word and it pops up. This word's been used twice. Close the navigation pane. Close. So now use replace. So you can find a word and change it. Open find and replace dialog box with the replace tab selected. All right, so replace all instances of a space followed by a hyphen followed by a space with the in dash. What? Replace all instances of a space followed by a hyphen followed by a space. In dash. Here we go. I did that right. Let's show this again. Hint. Click in the find what box and press the space bar. Type hyphen and press the space. I did that. Click in the replace with box and click more. I did all that. Let's try this again. All done. We made 4 replacements. Oh, okay. Y'all, I'm sorry. Borders and shading. How to apply built-in borders. Apply a bottom border to the bottom header. Click the Borders drop-down menu, Home tab, Paragraph group. Click Bottom border. Bottom border. Done. My apologies. Custom borders. Let's do that. Open the Borders and Shading dialog box in the Borders tab. Done. Apply the following options to the border. Shadow setting, shadow setting, solid line, dark red. I think that's regular red. This one's dark red. Dark red, half point width, and apply the border to paragraph. Apply to paragraph. Okay. You'll notice it created a box around this paragraph, but it was a shadow box. Sometimes following directions like that can be hard. So if you're struggling with that too, it's okay. Remember, you can do it as many times as you need to. Apply shading from the borders and shading dialog box. Okay. Open the borders and shading dialog box. Shading tab. Fill the selected paragraph with white, background 1, darker 5%. So white, background 1, darker 5%. Do you see when you hover your mouse over that, it says this one is darker 15%. We want darker 5%. So you click that one. Apply the fill to the selected text. And click OK. Got it. Open the Insert Hyperlink dialog box. Insert links. Insert link. Select existing file or web page and type in the address area. When you're finished, open the Set Hyperlink Screen Tip dialog box. Add the text CSU Chico web site. Make sure when you're typing stuff like this is exact. Add the hyperlink to the document. Place in this document. Click OK to close the Insert Hyperlink dialog. What did we do wrong? Hint. I did that. Wonder what I did wrong. Okay. But that's why you can do it as much as possible. Also, have I mentioned this software is new for all of us? Find and replace. Pause and practice should do the find and replace too, along with the other things that we've done. Again, those are for your benefit. Chapter summary. Here's the 9 things that we went over. This is for a review. I'm not going to go over that in this video. Once you have finished where we were, you can stop. If you want to keep going, please do. But once the Let Me Tries are all done, your chapter reading grade is done. And then you go back in manually and you click the guided project that's due at the end of every chapter. If you keep going on the arrows, it's going to take you through all of the guided projects that are available. You don't need that. We are only doing one guided project um, per chapter right now. When we finish Word, there'll be 4 Word chapters. When we finish Word, we're going to do a comprehensive project that will pull all 4 chapters together. But every chapter gets one guided project at the end. And then when we finish Word, we're going to do an additional project that uses all 4 things, all 4 chapters together. So once you finish the chapter and you get through the chapter summary, you can go ahead and close out because I don't want you end up doing a project that we don't need. Okay. Make sure you're keeping your eye on Blackboard in that list of things to do. Also, I have those direct links to the projects in Blackboard. So don't let there ever be a question. Don't just go to SIMnet. Go start in Blackboard. That way there's no question. Okay. I hope this was helpful. You saw that I had a couple of hiccups, or they wanted it done one way and I was going to do it a different way, or I couldn't remember where that button was, or whatever. I've used Microsoft Office for probably 30 years. And although, yes, they do regular updates and things move and whatever, at the end of the day, there's multiple ways to do most steps in Word. And so if you have a habit of doing it one way, but SimNet's wanting to teach you a different way, accept that and keep learning the new way. That doesn't mean you need to change your current habits. But just know that if you get a red box and you're like, yes, that's exactly how you do it, go back and watch the show me because they're clearly trying to show you a way that maybe either you're not familiar with or you don't remember. Um, don't get frustrated with it though, okay? If you have any questions, concerns, whatever, holler at me and I'll talk soon. See you later. Bye.